What is up, guys and gals? It's me, Thomas Fan01 here, and today we are back at it again with another Transformer figure review. And today we are going to be taking a look at another one of the figures in the Transformers Age of the Primes 4-pack here. We're going to be taking a look today, obviously, if you guys kind of could tell, we're going to be taking a look at Bumper today. And we're going to just rotate the box all the way around so you guys can get a quick look at said box, because we're only going to do this only 2 more times and then we're done. So let's just move the box out of the way. And here we have the figure at hand, and this is just, I gotta say, this is Hasbro's attempt at finally appeasing fans about this character. Okay? Now, I'm going to give y'all a little backstory about this character for those of you who are not aware of what went on with this figure. So, the first thing that happened with this figure is that, well, it's based off of a figure that never really was supposed to exist. See, back in the day of the 1980s, there was a line called Diaclone, which is what Transformers is basically ripped off from, thanks Hasbro. But at the same time, they also became their own type of thing later on. However, in the beginning, they had a series of mini-bots that you could basically buy for under $5 or something like that. And then the bigger ones were closer to like $15 to $20. And then the slightly bigger ones were like $30 to $40. And if you wanted the big Titan class one, obviously, or the Titan sized ones or something of that nature, it was obviously going to be about $100 for those. However, in the beginning with the little mini bots, this guy was basically a Bumblebee head, or maybe not a Bumblebee head. It was more like a cliff. It was like a cliff jumper head on a Bumblebee body, and it was supposed to be like, and it was supposed to be yellow, and it was supposed to be a different cut, like a different type of thing. And then of course there were the multiple different variants of it. There was Bumble Jumper, there was Bumble Cap, there was so many things of that nature. And this is Hasbro's attempt to finally appease us all in telling us, hey, this figure does exist. We do know that we screwed up in the 80s. We know what happened. So, and the reason why I say it was called Bumper or Bumble Cap or Bumble Jumper is because it was a Bumblebee figure in the Cliff Jumper package, or a Cliff Jumper with a Bumblebee head in the Bumblebee packaging, or the Cliff Jumper packaging, or the Hubcap packaging. It was confusing, and a lot of people didn't know what to do with it. So Hasbro then later decided, well, people saw this figure, so now we've got to deal with it. So, anyways, in terms of this figure, this figure right here is just basically a reskin of the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee, which is going to be our massive point of comparison for this figure. So, pretty much this is what you've got to deal with. And I gotta say, I quite like it, because this does represent a little bit more of the mini-bot that we did see in the G1. And I have seen one of them in person. I just never was able to acquire it because the person who was selling it was asking way too much. So, anyways, he does come with the exact same gun that came with the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. It is Blast Effects compatible, as in the same sense that Bumblebee's was. So, and it does peg right onto the back, just like Bumblebee's did. So, yeah. But y'all know the rules. We don't need to take a look at the weapon until later. So, now y'all know what we get to do this time. It's time for scale comparisons. Oh yeah, you know it's time for that. So, anyways, here he is next to Studio Series 86 Brawn. The dying version. Help me! Help me! Here he is next to Legacy Velocitron Cosmos. I apologize, folks. I do have the little bit of the sniffles. Allergies and cold season is returning. Here he is next to the new Retro Sea Spray. Here he is next to Legacy United G1 Prime. And finally, here he is next to Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. And you can pretty much tell it's exactly the same. So, there we go. Alright, now to transform him. And it is exactly like you guessed it. Exactly the same as Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. And to start that off, we're going to come to this back section here, and we're just going to extend it out a little bit like that. And we're going to take this, and we're going to flip up the head, because that's just going to make my life a little easier later on. So this is going to flip up, and then this is going to flip up as well. So there we go. So flip the head all the way up, and we're just going to make sure all of it goes like that. And this is the way you want things looking. Then you're going to take this section here, you're going to undo these, and you're going to just split them down the middle, and then you're going to bring these sections up like this, and you're going to bring these forward like so. Do the same thing on the other side, and then you're going to basically just leave it like this for now. Then you're going to come to these sections here, and you're just going to bring this waist section. It does tab in securely back here, but you're going to just untab it like so, and bring it all the way forward, and then we can bring all of this coming all the way back and have it folded in all the way properly like so. And then you're going to rotate the arms all the way forward like so, and hinge all of this backwards. And this will all just, there are angled tabs right here that these little bits will go into if you, there we go. It's a very, very weird flex and move things around and do that. And now we're on the finale part of the whole transformation. Take these, bring them all the way forward, straighten out the legs, bring this little piece down. It's going to be necessary, so we'll do the same thing on the other side. Straighten out said leg. Fold this piece down. Take this panel in on the inside of the door. Bring it down. And then fold this piece all the way around. And then these are just going to tab into that little section down there on the bottom of the foot. There's a little tab section. I'm going to just... Come on. You're gonna come undone. This is where fingernails help, ladies and gentlemen, and I do not have them, so give me just a second. Got it. Took me a second, but got it. Fold this all the way down, close this up, tab this all the way back in place, straighten it all out, bring the gun back in here, pop it into his hand, and there you have Autobot Bumper in his robot mode. And I gotta say, I think it's quite... okay. I know this is going to get reused at least another 2 times. I know 2 times for sure, because they've already said they're going to do Cliff Jumper, and when you do a Cliff Jumper, they're going to make sure that you've got multiple different variants of it. So there's going to be another version of this mold floating around. So anyways, let's take a quick look at that head sculpt, because the head sculpt is exactly what y'all want to see. So get a good look at this. The Autobot insignia on the chest is quite nice, I might say. So, and then we'll bring in Bumblebee just so you guys can have a quick frame of reference here on how much they actually took from this guy to this guy, and how much I'm sure the Studio Series 86 Cliff Jumper is going to be. The next one, at the very least, version 2. So... Alright, now that we've done that, let's get him into scale comparisons. We'll rank him, and then we shall end the video. So, here he is next to Studio Series 86 Brawn. Here he is next to Legacy Velocitron Cosmos. Here's next to retro release Sea Spray. And finally, here he is next to Legacy United G1 Prime. Alright, so where do I rank this figure? Well, I don't know how I'm going to rank a figure that really technically doesn't even exist. I mean, take note, I know it exists because I've seen it in real life and I've seen it in person, and I know someone's going to take that bit out of context. But I genuinely don't know how to rank this figure. It's literally just Bumblebee with a different head sculpt. Like, seriously, you could literally throw this into the Age of the Primes line with a Bumblebee head sculpt and literally call it G1 Bumblebee. That's all you'd have to do. So, I don't really appreciate that bit of it. Like, I wish it was a little bit more unique in the sense, like, maybe they used Hubcap's feet, or maybe they gave it different arms, or a different weapon even. The only thing different about this figure is his head sculpt. And the minimalistic paint job on the front of the vehicle. So, all in all, I think I have to rank this thing. I'm not going to rank it highly, but I'm also not going to rank it lowly. I'm going to rank this thing somewhere in the ballpark of, let's rank it a 7 out of 10 because, well, the transformation wasn't terrible. Everything didn't really break apart. Nothing really is the matter aside from the fact that it's just a repaint of an old figure. And I know we're going to get another one, so I'm not really going to be surprised when that does happen. So, that is it for this review and ranking of the Transformers Age of the Primes Autobot bumper. And this is Thomas Phantom 1 saying, do not forget to subscribe to Jordy's Rail videos, Patrick's Voice Rail, Riveted Rail Fan, Riveted Reviews, Alexander Rothschild, Lemon Lime Studios, Take Along Productions, iStar 552, and Bravely GG. And seriously, go subscribe to all of them because they are friends, fans, and family of the show. And this is Thomas Phantom 1 saying, do not forget to keep playing with your toys. Goodbye.